So the contractor I hired to do my exterior renovations ran off with my money without completing his job. When I arrived at my property, all my other contractors wanted to do was complain about the work that wasn't done instead of trying to help me figure out how we're gonna get this done and stay on track. You can only do what you can do, right? Are you gonna fix it? Because if you're not gonna fix it, I don't really want to talk about it, to be very honest. Like, we can sit here and talk about what wasn't done right, but if you're not gonna give me a solution, then really I'm not interested in talking about it, to be honest with you.
But every time I go to tell him something, he gets upset.
But it's done though. So everyone keeps talking about that. I don't want to talk about that no more. Like,
yeah, but there's nothing I can do with that.
I just want, okay, if it can't be done, it can't be done then. I don't want to talk about what he didn't do, and I don't care no more. It's done. He's gone. So I don't want to talk about that no more. What's going on, boss? How you doing?
Rico, what do you say, man?
Chilling, man.
John,
You guys saying?
Rico, John.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure's all mine, man. I heard a lot about you. What are we looking for some suits, man? What are you thinking?
Honestly, I was hoping you'd be able to tell me. I
That guy-
I got a couple suits right now, nothing too crazy. So I want to get them adjusted because they're way too big for me now.
Okay.
And then I just want to get some more suits.
You thinking like blues, grays? What's
Something-
your daily
something
routine
dope,
like?
something dope. I need some fire suits. I feel like I got the basic ones. I got gray, black.
So you have the basic ones covered?
I think. I don't know. You
Alright.
can tell me if
you
I'm
have
missing
black,
anything.
you have gray,
Yeah,
you have a navy.
yeah.
Okay.
I feel like that's basic.
That's like the
So now I
basic
just want
one.
some dope
Something
design.
a bit of fun. Okay.
And I don't know, like, you think I should go full
1,000
suits, or you think I should do like some blazers and like more mix and matching? Because that was another thing I was thinking about.
Kind of depends on your style, man. Because if you have like a lot of pants like these, you could do just like a blazer, kind of throw it on with a turtleneck and whatnot. If your style is more like full suits, if you're actually gonna go all out, depends on the neighborhood you attend. Like if you're going to Yorkville, definitely like a full suit vibe or something like that. Kind of matching pants that are like kind of like the same tone or same threading in there. But it depends on you, man. I feel like definitely you need some suits in your life, but like you also can go, you could get away with separates. Yeah, you could have this as a full suit, white shirt, brown shoes. You could have black shirt, black shoes. You could have this with a black turtleneck, white pants, black turtleneck, black pants. This has a jacket, white pants, summertime, white t-shirt under. You can do so much with that. It's insane.
This is gonna be crazy.
I could see you with that.
Cause I was gonna do this. I was gonna do this one, but he was saying that it's it's gonna stand out a little too much.
Yeah.
So this one is
proper.
perfect.
Yeah.
This joint, blazer.
Oh,
this one's
heavy.
gonna be
Oh,
crazy.
yeah, that's heavy. That's
Guaranteed. This is gonna
Yeah.
be my favorite one. I can already see it.
Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what, add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what.
Talk about today's meeting.
Yes.
The three of us are here.
So
The real not real estate.
Exactly.
First off, what did I miss? Did I miss anything after I left?
No.
Where you guys are wrapping up?
We're kind of wrapping it up, and everything that you potentially missed was stuff that we already talked about, right? To that point,
Yeah.
I actually made sure that she understood that me and you, we've been here from the beginning. beginning, and I'm invested in seeing us look the part as well as be the part for real. Like, I want to see us all being successful. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, welcome to our new world, our new normal.
Yep.
New norm.
Cheers to success.
There it is.
Cheers to success.
So you're probably wondering how we got here. Well, this is how it all started. So basketball was my first passion. I played basketball basically my whole life. In grade 11, my goal was that summer, if I didn't have any Division I offers, then I was gonna hang it up and I was gonna focus on what I was gonna do with the rest of my life. The summer came and went, and I didn't end up getting any Division I offers to play in university. So I decided that I was gonna finish my grade 12 year at my high school, and that was the end of my basketball career. My thing growing up was I either gotta make it to the NBA or I gotta make NBA money. That was it. So that year, in my grade 12 year, once I decided to hang up my basketball shoes, for the most part, I went out and I got my very first job, and that was working at Cassie Campbell. I tried to keep it close to what I was already passionate about. So I was actually doing the drop-in basketball program after school. So as I'm working this job, working at Cassie Campbell, I decided that I was gonna start saving up my money. My goal was to save up $10,000, and the goal was I was gonna take that money and I was gonna invest it into the stock market. I was inspired by the pursuit of happiness. I'm watching my savings go up and up and up, you know, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. You know, once I hit $5,000, I was really excited. This is more money than I've ever had in my life. So, you know, as I'm getting closer to my goal, a friend of mine, he calls me, he's like, hey, let's go to this seminar. I don't have any interest in seminars, right? I had never been to a seminar at this point, I don't think ever in my life. So I said, you know what, sure, let's do it. I'm pretty open-minded. Turns out it was a Rich Dad, Poor Dad seminar by Robert Kiyosaki. I'm sitting down through this seminar and they're talking about real estate. Now, mind you, I had no interest in real estate. You know, I'm kind of scratching my chin and I'm thinking to myself, like, these guys sound like they're making more money. So I walked away from that seminar and I told myself, forget about this stock stuff, I'm doing real estate. After I decided to shift my goal from saving $10,000 to invest in the stock market, I decided I was going to save $10,000 to buy my first property. I don't know anything about real estate. I don't know how much money you need. I don't know anything. All I knew was $10,000 was more money than I ever had in my life. And in my mind, that was enough to do whatever I wanted. I went back on my grind and, you know, I started saving up aggressively. So mind you, at this time, I'm working at Cassie Campbell, but I also got a second job, which is working at Scotiabank. At this point, I feel like I'm raking in the dough. Like I'm making so much money, my savings are going up much faster. I have finally saved up $10,000. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I'm the richest guy in the world. I even took pictures of, you know, holding the money next to my ears. You know, I was doing all that. I was doing the most. But I was excited. This was more money than I ever had. And I was really looking forward to tackling that next stage of my life. My dad actually introduced me, or he had recommended me to get in touch with this real estate agent, some guy named Corey McNaught. Who's this guy? Mind you, I'm 18 at this time. I meet Corey, I don't know who he is. He takes me to look at some places. I'm looking at houses, like, I remember, like, I went to look at this house, it was $800,000. I have $10,000. I have no business looking at these homes. But again, I'm young, I'm ignorant, I'm excited. All I know is $10,000 is a lot of money to me, so I feel like I can buy anything. So I get out there and I start putting in a bunch of offers, and I kept getting decline. You know, finally we get an approval. I go to get my mortgage, can't get a mortgage. So it was roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. So finally, after countless rejections, on the brink of wanting to just quit, finally I meet this agent. And I was, you know, really unmotivated at the time, and he had educated me on pre-construction. Now, I didn't like the idea of buying something and having to wait. That was a foreign concept to me. Once I give you my money, you give me the product. I wasn't interested. So, you know, we're going back and forth, and he says, okay, fine. Maybe we can find something that's gonna be a year max, maybe even shorter than a year. You know, it took me a little bit of time, but finally I said, okay, you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. I can wait max a year. So, you know, I get out there and I'm anxious. I don't like to wait. And then the sales guy says, oh, we have this penthouse unit. Penthouse, I'll take it. So now that I've bought this condo, the closing had come. I've closed on this property because remember, it was a pre-construction condo, meaning it wasn't quite built yet. So fast forward about a year later, my condo's built. I got the keys. I'm on top of the world. I'm so excited. It's my first property. So I go out and I try to sell it. That's the first thing I try to do. Unfortunately, I couldn't quite get as much money for it as I had planned. So I go around my house hunting for furniture, right? I stole my grandma's couch. I took the lamp from my room. I'm just grabbing. Plus I went to IKEA and I spent about $1,000 getting whatever little things that I still needed. And I went back to my condo. I spent the entire night. I'll never forget. It was like my brother and two of my friends. They came and they helped me and we were there all night long just furnishing my condo. One day, I was watching a Breakfast Club interview and Dame Dash came on to the Breakfast Club and he had this interview that really inspired me and it gave me that motivation that I felt like I was so desperately needing, especially at that time in my life where I felt like I just kind of lacked inspiration. I wasn't working towards anything. I saved up my money. I got my first property. So at this point, I'm just kind of going through the motion. The main point that I took away from the interview was the concept of flipping up. And I went online and I bought earrings and I started selling the earrings. So I was flipping the earrings. I was making a little bit of money. And once I had a little bit of money saved up, I transitioned to phones. So I started buying phones and I was selling the phones. And then once I had a little bit more money, I started buying cars and I started selling cars. So while all of this is going on, I'm slowly graduating in my flips, I guess you can call it. I had stopped, well, I was still working at the bank, but part-time, because it really wasn't bringing in enough money. So I started working on a truck. I was doing deliveries. But what a lot of people didn't know is I was making way more money working on that truck. So one of the things that I started doing while working on the truck was I was selling appliances as well, because we would deliver appliances. So I would go and I would deliver maybe a fridge to a customer and they would ask us to take their old fridge and get rid of it. But what we did was we went to a guy who sold used appliances. So he would buy them off of us and he would fix them up himself and sell it back to the public. So he was buying these appliances from us for $50 to $100 to $200 per appliance. These appliances are not costing me a dime. So now I bring everything together. Appliances, the cars and the phones and all this stuff that I'm doing, I managed to save up $25,000 that summer. So now we're really rolling in the dough. So I had decided that, you know what, I wanted to take this money and invest it into something a little bit bigger. So one of the ideas that I had with a friend of mine was to start a car dealership because we were already selling cars. Well, we looked into that and we decided that really wasn't the way to go. I said, look, I own a property. This is what we'll do. We'll buy a property and we'll flip it. We'll buy it, we'll fix it up and we'll sell it. And we can make like 50 to 100 grand. And then we could take that money and then maybe start up one of these businesses. So we buy the condo and we don't have enough money to hire contractors to fix it up for us. So we had to do it ourselves. And we put it up for sale and you know what? We didn't make anywhere close to as much money as we thought. So at this point in my life, I'm doing a lot of research. I'm talking to a lot of people because I'm trying to figure out what my next move is gonna be. So to make a long story short, the second agent that we sat down with turns out to be one of my personal mentors. till today. It really inspired me to not only take this investing thing to another level, but it also inspired me to get my real estate license to become a real estate agent. And he really showed me where I could take this whole thing. But I never once in my life got a chance to meet someone face to face and, you know, genuinely looked at them and said, you know what? This guy is somewhere that I want to be. What I did was I took the insurance off my car, I sold everything because I had no reason to leave my house. And I locked myself in my basement for 5 months and I was just studying. Like, I hammered through my entire real estate course, like just like that. So partway through getting my license, my sister told me to come to this church that she got invited to. So I go to the church with her and I see some guy and he looks very familiar. And I'm like, I know this guy from somewhere. So I'm talking to him and I was like, yo bro, what's your name? And he says his name's Corey. And I'm like, Corey, do I know Corey? Sounds familiar, but I couldn't remember. So before he leaves, I said, you know what, let me take your number down. So I take his number down, he takes off. And as I'm going through my phone, I realize I already have a Corey in my phone. Clicked right away. This is the Corey that I met when I was 18. Fast forward years later, I'm probably 24, 25, around this stage in my life. So, you know, all these years had passed and we were reconnecting. I decided that I'm gonna go back to his church the following Sunday because I wanted to ask him if he would be okay with me shadowing him so I could just learn the real estate game as I continue to get my real estate license. He took me out and I would just follow him everywhere he went. Meetings, showings, the office, it doesn't matter where. Anywhere Corey went, I was following behind him. And that's really how I learned the real estate game. So now that I have my real estate license, I'm finally able to do real estate full time. An opportunity came across my desk to buy a property. It was a friend of mine, he was buying it, but he ran into a situation and he couldn't close. So what I did was I structured a deal where he was able to still make money off the property. So he got paid for finding the deal and then he passed it over to the other investor who I also found, and that investor spent the money to fix up the property and sell it, and I in turn got paid for putting all of this together. So that is how I ended up buying my third property. It was through this transaction. So I worked the real estate business for 2 years, and it had its ups and its downs, but all in all, you know, I committed to the 2 years. So during the process of me committing to the real estate business, I had also sold my condo, my first condo that I had bought. So I had sold all my properties. I had no properties in my portfolio at the time. I'm just working the business. I'm just trying to save up as much money as I can to prepare me for the next step in my life. What I decided to do was I wanted to go out and buy more real estate so I can, you know, buy properties, fix them up, sell them, and, you know, make lots of money. But I had a little bit of money saved up, but it wasn't enough. So I went out there and I started knocking on doors and I started calling my past clients. I started calling family members, friends to see, you know, who had interest in investing with me. After securing one of my first investors and, you know, still today one of my best investors, my grandparents. So then I started buying these multifamily properties. I found a bit of a niche. Like, this was the area that I had decided I was going to focus on because of the demand. It also seemed very lucrative, and I felt like I was kind of getting my stride, you know, hitting my strides at this point. So I made that my focus and I went out there and I got really aggressive and I started buying up as many properties as I could get my hands on, as many properties as I could afford to buy at once. And that leads us to today.
Cheers to success. Bought my camera, yo.
What kind of camera? This is nice.
Sony.
Yeah.
Vlogger.
Oh, nice.
That kind of vlog.
That kind of vlogger. So when I go to St. Martin.
So this